Hey, what's up? GW coming to you live once again. A couple of things, and then we're going to jump into the Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City movie review. Um, First of all, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers, and especially to Ethan Carlson, who just recently subscribed to my channel. So I hope you guys are learning something, and I hope, that you guys enjoy the content. And my thing has always been, you know what, you could do anything with your time, but I appreciate you guys watching me. And again, I just want to say thank you, and thank you to Ethan Carlson for subscribing. And I hope you like what you see again. And basically, I hope you guys enjoy. So I appreciate every person that is watching me on the YouTube. And I know I haven't said it recently, but in these days, in this day and age of COVID and distrust and all this other garbage out there, it just it feels cool that people pay attention to you, for either like what I do with the YouTube videos, or maybe at your job somebody gives you recognition. I think in these days and in these times it means more than it would any other time. So again, thank you to all my subscribers. I really appreciate the love and support. That being said, we're going to jump right into Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. First of all, big long-time Resident Evil fan. I have played every game except for Code Veronica. And I know the story pretty well. In fact, when the remake of 2 came out, I was one of the first in lines to get it. Now, I must admit, I didn't play the games whenever they were first out. In fact, my first venture with Resident Evil was the remake of the GameCube one, I believe for Xbox. And it was pretty awesome. I got to know the characters Jill, Chris, Leon, Claire, the whole bunch. And I followed the movies quite extensively. And if you're a fan of the games, I should say, this movie you're going to be on the fence about because you're either going to love it or hate it. And I am going to tell you why. But I'm not going to spoil any major plot points, or try not to. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it. So it's directed by Johan Roberts. I've never heard of this cat before, and it's distributed by Sony Screen Gems, and it stars. Let's see if I can remember this, guys. Kea Scodelario, Hannah John Carmen, and Robbie Amell as the three main characters: Leon, Chris, and Claire. And what this movie tries to do, in essence, is take what you liked of the first game and intermingle it with bits of the second game. And what I mean by that is you have the Spencer Mansion is featured in this movie, yes, and that's something that I always wanted to see. But you also have the infamous Raccoon Police Force, or Police Department, that is featured prominently in the beginning sections of Resident Evil 2. You also have the underside of the Raccoon Police Force, which leads to Umbrella. Now, this movie is set up in such a way where when I watched it, it almost seemed like there was going to be a second entry to follow, which will feature more, moments that Resident Evil fans pretty much like. What I did like about the movie is it tried to take everything you like from the first and second game and intermingle them into one single story. And it does a lot better at telling the story than the Paul Wes Anderson movies, which I do like. They're on a whole nother level, don't get me wrong. This film heavily favors, I would say, game number 2, because there's more police station and there's more elements from the second game in it. The one other criticism that you will read about if you start reading up on this movie is that the characters from the movie do not necessarily look like the characters in the game. And I understand that maybe, they could have done the uniforms better. They could have done, some of the appearances, hairstyles, what have you. But For an action horror film, it really, I would say was the best sort of adaptation, if you will. Now, you could go around this all day and go left and right on it, but at the end of the day, it's an entertaining film if you like the games and you're pretty much in the games. I have basically seen every Resident Evil, including the animated ones that they did, Damnation and Regeneration and all that kind of stuff. And they were okay. I like them too. I wasn't crazy about, inconsistencies or misplayed plot points because I was entertained. I didn't stop my entertainment for the movie to get mad at something missing in the details. What I'm saying is that I was so entertained I wasn't upset at the inconsistencies, I guess, from the game. The other criticism that you'll read is that Leon Kennedy's character, who was a badass who actually saved the president and president's daughter in game number 4, is a bullied nerd or dork in this movie, and I have a theory about that. My theory is that he was weak to begin with, and he was a rookie cop. You guys remember from the game, he was a rookie cop. He didn't know anything. He wasn't prepared for a zombie outbreak. So yeah, of course you're going to be scared, but maybe in the second movie, hopefully there is a second movie, he becomes tougher because he's already been through this. That's my thought. That's why I don't get mad at the Leon Kennedy thing. Because I think they're going to take his character and they are going to make him tougher. The other thing I got to give a shout out is to the special effects. Now, we see a lot of zombies, guys, in this film. But you also see some mutations. You really do. I'm trying to think. We do see I want to say Birkin Monster. That's my name for him. He appears in Resident Evil 2. If you guys played it, you know what I'm talking about. We also get to see Sherry Birkin, which was really cool. And it was neat how they tried to tie them as well as the Chris Redfield, because they've always been on different platforms of the game until I think Resident Evil 6, I think, is when they all started coming together and, learning about everybody. So yeah, it was pretty good. I call him Birkenstock actually when I play, but William Birkin. So if you're a major fan of the series, I suggest you check it out. Forget what the reviews say, guys. I bought this movie not knowing what to expect. I was highly entertained by it. And it was pretty awesome. And like I said, some of it is fan service. You have, like I said, the sets that were in the video games. You have a rocket launcher straight out of Resident Evil 2. You have, like I said, the William Birkin monster. And there's other stuff, too, that I'm sure, like in Resident Evil 1, where they fly in a helicopter and they look down and the spotlight's over them and they land at the mansion. And the way that whenever they get to the mansion, like they all fan out, that's in there. Overall, not a bad movie. Not a bad movie. Seemed like a more faithful, I think, movie. But, you guys check it out. If you're Resident Evil fans, you'll probably enjoy it. I really, like I said, I liked it. I'm looking forward to the second movie. But I'm going to tell you guys, after the movie's over, stay tuned for the post-credits. I'm telling you right now, that's starting to be a thing. Marvel started that and, blew up with it. But I think, every movie's going to do it. But stay tuned because it is pretty cool. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City about a 7 or 8. Because I enjoyed it. I don't care what critics say. Just because a critic doesn't like something doesn't mean I'm not going to like it. So definitely check it out. And what else I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. So I did sort of gloss over the fact that Louis Anderson passed away a little while ago. I didn't mention this, and it's because, like I said, we were doing so much other stuff, and maybe I forgot to address it. But Yeah, Louis Anderson was pretty cool. Whenever I was young, he was on Comics Come Home or Comic Relief, where they put on HBO, put on a stand up, and all the money went to benefit the homeless people in this country. And he was on that. And then he was on Showtime at the Apollo, which aired after Saturday Night Live, guys, back in the day when I was about 6 or 7. And he was on there a few times because sometimes they would do different comedians. Sometimes they would have one comedian do a showcase. And I caught his act then. It was like, see, Saturday Night Live was on from 11 to 12:30, I think, 11 to 1. And I think his show was on from 1 to 2, that Showtime at the Apollo thing. It wasn't bad. I really like Louis Anderson. Um, I think he had his own HBO half-hour special. I don't remember seeing him in any movies, but he had Life with Louie, which was the animated cartoon about his life. Most people remember him from this because it was a prime slot. It was Saturday morning cartoons, and you had the animated Louie always talking to the real life Louie at the end of the show. And since then, I think he's done voices for a couple of Disney movies or Pixar movies. I'm not really sure, but I really like the guy, and I'm sorry that he's gone. And I hope, we got to stop losing people this year. It's sucks, and it's not just death. I'm not just talking about that. I mean, I'm talking about at work. Like, there are people that I've known for years, that I've cleaned up for, that I know, that I've had conversations with, that I got to know as family, and then they're gone. And it really sucks. And you know what? I don't know what happened in this world, but I'm not going to try to find out. Because sometimes you just don't care. But I'm just sick and tired of people leaving. And I'm tired of these celebrities that I used to look up to, dying all the time. It sucks. And that's why you need movies like Resident Evil to take your mind off it. But again, thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to Ethan Carlson for subscribing. And thank you to everybody who is down with me, because I'm down with you back.